Hello and welcome to my channel, Inviting Possibilities. My name is Rochelle, and I am going to be doing a reading for air signs Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. That's in all placements, and it's general, so take what resonates, and if it really doesn't, um, feel free to check out any of my other videos. They are all timeless and all placements. So I'm going to start with the wisdom of the oracle, get the baseline of the story, create some space. And Jojo made it. Good morning. Thanks for being here. And thanks to all of you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And Rest Mojo made it too. Good morning. All right, here we go. What do we have going on for air signs? We've got go the distance in protection. Imagine in protection. And by the way, when I say protection, that's the creator of this deck. That's her word for reversed. Call it Baron Reed. And we have mending. 47, 20, and 52. Okay. So you've been in this. You've been how do I start this? Okay. So it's been a while now where you've been in a situation where it just feels like it's never going to end. You could feel worn out, just generally tired, hopeless, helpless. You feel like stuck. Maybe, yeah, it's like there's just no end in sight to whatever this is that you've been dealing with. And a part of what's going on, it's one of those weird kind of, I want to say catch 22. I don't know if that's exactly right, but it's like you're in a difficult situation, and being in it, you can't help but think about how you're in it. Think about all the ways in which you don't want to be in it. You would love to just get to the other side. You would love to be out of this finally, and it is it's really, yeah, it's hard not to think about wanting something else. But what's happening is you are spending so much time thinking about the worst case scenario, which is that maybe this will never end. Maybe you're going to be here forever, forever. Like thinking about any kind of lack, being in a lack mentality, being like, being in a victim mentality. Poor me, this always happens, this keeps going on, I have no control over this. You're affirming what you don't want. You continue to affirm what you see in front of you, which logically makes sense. But what's happening is you are continuing the cycle. You're recreating it over and over and over again by affirming what's going on, which is what you don't want. And this is one of the keys to the law of attraction, to manifesting, is that whatever, our thoughts are so powerful. Our thoughts and our words are actual energy. So when you put it out there, you are literally creating more of it. And basically the universe, the universal energies reflect back to us whatever we put out. So even though it makes logical sense to keep affirming what you don't want, because of course you don't want it, you're actually creating more of it. Maybe it's a paradox. Anyway, The trick here is to remember that you are very resilient, that the only thing we really can count on in life is change, that this too shall pass. It really, really will. In a year, 5 years, 10 years, you're going to look back on this and be like, oh, yeah, that happened. Now I'm somewhere else. But when we're in it, especially when we're struggling, when we're suffering, it can feel like it's just never going to end. So, this is where you need to infuse your power and ability to create your life, your environment, your world, yourself the way you want it to be. And it's a practice. This isn't something where you can just think something once or say something once and, magically it's going to all turn around. You, in a sense, have created this situation and it- probably unconsciously. So now you need to consciously get yourself out of it, dig yourself out. And so you want to use your imagination for for your own good rather than using it against you. And so it's recognizing what you don't like about your situation, what you don't want, and using that as your compass to point you towards the opposite. What do you want? I'm so tired of this. What's the opposite of that? Um, I feel really peaceful with my situation. I'm very happy with where I'm at. I feel content. It's affirming what you want as if it's already here. Acting as if you are already where you want to be. You already have achieved what you want. And it's not easy, especially at first, especially if you're really struggling with something where you feel like you can't get out of it. Um, but what happens when you do this is as you train yourself to keep thinking in a new way, affirming what you do want, your brain starts to believe it. Like our brain does not know the difference between what we imagine versus what we see in our reality. So you need to start imagining what things look like, what they feel like, um, as you want them to be. And it's through that, it changes your ability to see, it changes your ability to think and to problem solve. It's not a bunch of woo woo magic. I keep saying the word woo woo. I love that word. But it's like, this is very much based in science and facts that you really, it's up to you to create the world you want, the life you want. And so with mending, this is it could be that you're mending a situation with a person, some kind of fallout that you've experienced, but this could also be just mending your relationship with yourself, with your world. Coming to a place where like I said, you're consistently practicing how you want to be in the world. If you're in a habit of thinking negatively, even if things start to go well, you're not paying attention to what's going well. You're still in the habit of thinking, of focusing on what's not going well. So it's needing to completely change that focus, basically. So, okay, lots of explaining. I'm going to start with the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot. Get some further clarification on what's going on. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Wands, and Justice. Okay, Queen of Swords. This very likely is you. This is your energy. Um, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And we've got some fire energy here. Come on, brain, Leo, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And then we have some Libra here. So air again. This could be, like I said, maybe you've had a fallout with somebody. There's been some kind of not being able to see things clearly, or there's been conflict of interest. There's been some kind of, you know I feel like you've been through the ringer. You could be trying to communicate very logically, about like what's true for you, what you need. And there's somebody here who is, I don't know, maybe they feel like you're a little too logical. You need to loosen up. You need to have some fun. You need to just, I don't know, like get over yourself, basically. Um, but this could also be your struggle with yourself. It's like you know what you want, but because you've been through it, because it's been so painful, you have this wall up, or this boundary, and you're like, I'm not going to let this happen to me ever again. But um what you want to do is not become jaded by what's happened to you. You want to use that as fuel to launch yourself forward towards what you do want. You want to mend this, again, this relationship with yourself, mend this relationship with someone else. That's where the justice comes. That's what brings, it's like learning to be fair. Mending is, it's like it's about compromise, not compromise in the way that you sort of sacrifice what's important to you, but it's more about trying to see things from another perspective. And that's definitely what's needed here. And that's going to bring you to a place of balance when whether this is internal or external. There's a need to see things in a new way. So let me go with my Guardian Tarot, my creepy tree friends. Ooh, Redbeard is here. Hello. Thanks for joining. Okay, we've got the Page of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, and the King of Wands. Okay, King of Wands, he's my hell yes guy. It's not a hell yes, it's a no. We have the King and the Queen of Wands on the table now. That is a power couple, a dynamic duo of sorts. Um, Page of Swords. There's there's definitely some kind of communication here, which makes me think at least some of you are dealing with somebody where the situation has broken down. Maybe there's been some kind of battle, feeling defeated, trying to you and or this person have been trying to get one up on each other. Is that the right way to say it? It's like, you know, spying on each other, or someone spying on someone, trying to, I don't know, trying to get dirt on the other person possibly. Um maybe it's the kind of thing where there's some kind of jealousy, and it's like one person is kind of doing what they want, moving forward, kind of claiming what they feel is theirs, while somebody else feels like could be feeling like it's unfair, that someone's getting what they want. There's a it's like, it could be the kind of, like I said, there's something here where somebody's trying to break someone down through, like, digging up some dirt on them or something, playing unfair, fighting, playing unfair. Is that the right way to say it? My brain. Anyway, you get the point. There's something here. Again, there's a need to try to get on the same page. Even if you're dealing with somebody who is not playing fair, who is being underhanded and deceptive. Um, you can still take the high road. And maybe that's what the King of Wands is is being willing to, like, overlook. And it doesn't mean condone what somebody is doing, but it just means retreating. It means taking back your energy. You can't fight fire with fire. You're just going to make a bigger fire. There's a need to surrender, not in defeat, but in, like, okay, um clearly nothing is going to come of this. I'm going to go the other direction. There's no point. I don't know. Oh, let me keep going. I'm going to go with my Mystic Mondays deck. Mojo Tarot is here. Hello. We've got Justice again. Some of you could have some strong Libra in your chart. And then we have the Star. That's Aquarius. And Eight of Swords. Okay. Yeah, I feel like this is really illustrating what I was talking about, which is that there's some kind of balance that's coming into the situation. It's around some kind of wish fulfillment, going for what you want, or hoping and dreaming. Like, you could feel like you're going to get some kind of justice, or it's actually here, and it's like, wow, I finally have what I want. But here you are waiting for the other shoe to drop. Here you are thinking about the worst case scenario. Well, everything's working out in this moment, but next moment it could all go to shit, basically. Like, you're in this kind of mental prison because of what you've dealt with in your past, whether it's with a person, whether this is just kind of a cycle that you go through internally. You don't trust that things are going to work out for you. And that's the thing about life. Like, things don't always work out. They're not meant to. We're not meant to be happy and, like, sunshine and rainbows all the time. Um, how fun would that be? I mean, it would be fun. We would love it, but we would get bored eventually. The wonderful thing about bad circumstances is it reminds us how good it is when things are good. And the whole point of all of this is learning to respond in a new way, learning to recognize, like, oh, well, things really suck right now, but they are going to get better. And finding your own baseline of happiness. Just listening to a podcast this morning called 10% Happier. And, this guy goes to visit the Dalai Lama. And there's this um At one point, something was said about how happiness is not something that, how do I say it? Or how did they say it? It's like happiness, true, genuine happiness is not reliant on outer circumstances. It's all internal. Does not matter what's going on outside of you. It's all about how you feel about yourself. And that's really what it comes down to ultimately. If you don't feel good about yourself, you can't enjoy even the positive things that come to you in your outer world. So there's definitely a need here to somehow take off the blindfold. You've been keeping yourself stuck. You've been holding yourself back. Not consciously, probably, but I'm here to remind you that you can turn that frown upside down, and it's up to you. No one else can do it for you. You do have beautiful things here. There's healing here. Maybe this is what's coming, or you're already in the process of healing your negative thinking. The crap circles where you just keep going round and round. There's a need to get off the hamster wheel. Okay. How about I use some cards from the Familiars Tarot? If I can shuffle them. We've got the Two of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, and the Star again. Yeah, I feel like this is speaking to you it's speaking to you overcoming this kind of wishy-washy back and forth. One minute I feel good, the next minute I'm totally floored, and it's all happening because of what's happening in your mind. You're believing stories that you make up, and then you're letting it take you down. And not to say that things haven't been difficult, and I'm not saying you're making up the struggle that you've been dealing with, the suffering that you felt. It's that you're suffering over your suffering, and there's now I feel like you're going to come into balance. There's so much here about balance. Um that it's okay to feel anxiety. It's okay to feel the feelings. I'm not here to tell you that you should push anything down or away. It's about allowing the feelings, allowing the thoughts, knowing that that's a part of who you are, especially air signs. You're thinkers. You can't stop the thoughts. What you can do is practice changing the thoughts. Focus on what is really important to you. What would feel good? What do you want? If you are being faced with things you don't want, again, use that as your guide, your compass. What is your true north? What do you want? And here is where the balance comes into effect, comes into play, because then you start to heal. You're like, oh, yeah, my wish fulfillment. There are all these indications of it. Or, yes, I have had, we have many things that we desire. I, w- I, I'd venture to say there's never just one thing that any of us wants. There's a series of things. And so it's about focusing on all the little victories. Kind of takes us back to gratitude. I feel like this has been coming up a lot. And it's like following your desire and your passion, and and taking the steps to move towards that, including um, m- making friends with your own self, with your own mind, rather than fighting against it. That's what's been happening. You've been fighting against, you're like, all this bad stuff, but then I shouldn't be thinking this, or maybe you are, but it's like you're fighting yourself. And that is really, it's a never-ending battle. So for you, I think I'm gonna go with my elemental oracle. Ha! We've got air, motion. Mm-hmm. Number 22. And marine life, richness. Number 32. And we have 52 here, 20 here. So twos. Twos are a big thing. Twos are about balance. They're about kind of duality, partnership. Um, keep an eye out for the number. And then we have 39, gravity, groundedness. Yeah, this this is so amazing that this card came out. Air and motion. This is putting into motion what I've been talking about. Starting to focus on what you do want versus what you don't want. And retraining your brain, because there's so much richness and diversity that you are missing because of being stuck and blindfolded purposely. And this is where you start to see other perspectives. This is where you start to see things in a new way. And this is about becoming grounded, getting yourself out of your head and into your body. Maybe that's a part of what you need to do, is when you feel yourself kind of spinning out of control, do something physical. Go for a walk or bike ride, or whatever you like to do. Dance. Um, go do an intense workout. Whatever it takes for you to get into your body, it's going to help you get clearer. It's going to help you get out of your head, and it's going to help this transformation. She's being kind of lifted by the butterflies. Butterflies always speak to me of transformation. And there's all these animals around her. So there's something here about nature. Get yourself out into nature. This is also a theme that's been coming up in a lot of readings. Um, yeah, getting out of your normal environment. You got to shake things up to kind of help boost you in this new way. Maybe being out in nature will make it easier for you to imagine more easily what you do want. Okay, so I'm going to finish off with a rune card. That's right. Take a hike. All right. Ah, Kanaz. Talk about taking a hike, but doing it with a buddy. It's like, here we see the light at the end of the tunnel. And these two, they look like, they're going along, not too slowly. You can see her shirt is kind of blowing out behind her, but they're holding hands. They're enjoying the walk. they're or yeah, because they're not running, but it's about this is if you don't have somebody physically to go and walk with, it's about making friends with yourself. This could also be speak to the mending, where you've been in this dark tunnel with somebody, where you just feel like there it's never ending, this kind of conflict that you've had with them. And this is you two working on getting on the same page, working on moving towards the light where maybe you've been stuck in the dark for a while. So let me see. Let me find Kanaz. These pages are not numbered, which is kind of annoying, but I will find it. There it is. All right. So, oh, Kenazi. Kenazi. This card is most strongly associated with fire. Fire brings warmth and light in a literal sense, but it can also represent intellectual and spiritual illumination. This card indicates sudden insight, an outpouring of creativity, and those aha moments of awareness and clarity. If you are experiencing confusion or stagnation, this card may represent the promise of light at the end of the tunnel, or signify that an amazing breakthrough has already occurred or is imminent in some area of your life. When that enlightenment comes, you must seize the moment. It is the optimum time to initiate new projects, creative pursuits, or relationships. I feel like that's what this Ace of Wands is all about. Initiating something new that feels good and exciting, that fills you with passion. Um, yeah, this card also contains a warning. A warning. However, card contains a warning. However, fire is life and brings light into our lives, but it can also burn and destroy. Drawing this card could indicate that something needs definitively to end or be destroyed before there can be a new beginning or period of growth. And I feel like whatever that ending is very, very much tied to your thoughts and your way of thinking and showing up. And maybe this mending is about coming to terms with things, getting on the same page so that you can tie up those loose ends and move on. Apply it as it fits. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you on the next video. Mwah. And thanks again so much for liking, subscribing, and sharing.